good morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, happy Friday, FriYAY, whichever you choose. Good morning. Jessica Carter, the Peaceful Billionaire. I'm here, it's Friday. I'm here with you to celebrate your wins, no matter how big or how small, and let you pick my brain and get your questions answered. So happy FriYAY. To see who's going to come hang out with me today. "11:30 came quick this morning. I don't know where the mornings go. It's been a fun morning. Actually, a peaceful morning. It was one of those mornings where I needed a little bit more quiet time than usual. Perhaps because I was out and about all day yesterday in the city, and I just needed that extra inner time to recharge. So good morning, happy Friday. What shall I talk about in the interim until I have some people come on and hang out with me? I can do a quick recap of what was happening the past few days this week. Yeah. Let's see. Well, personally, yesterday was a super fun day. My friend got married, hence the henna. So the wedding was super fun and sweet, and we got to go out to eat and spend some time together afterwards. This was just a brief wedding. The formal celebration is going to be coming up soon. So that was incredible. And then I went to dinner with some friends who are in town in New York for her birthday. Happy birthday, Vicky. And let's see. So yeah, it was super fun. My live was fun last night. There was a lot of people there. And what I've been talking about the past few days, in case you missed it, was bringing you into this really getting to kind of take it in, let it sink in, about the true value and power of your mind as a $27 billion asset with 27 billion kilowatts of power that is available to you, right? To create any level of wealth, success, all of the peace and fulfillment you can already desire. It is absolutely available to you. And so I've been talking about, the mind. That is my zone of genius, mind and money surgery. Coming from a background in neurosurgery and really diving into all things mind, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, the superconscious mind. Accessing 100% of your mind, meaning accessing 100% of this $27 billion asset that you already own, and 100% of the 27 billion kilowatts of potential that you have available to you. That is already yours. It is already within you. And, right, and how you can use that, to really create unprecedented levels of success and unprecedented levels of wealth. Yes. And so I've been chatting about tools this week for optimizing your mind, right? For optimizing and leveraging this $27 billion asset, your mind, that you already own. Yes. And the first tip was, what was it? Oh, now I remember. The first tip was, I'm teasing. The first tip was shift your perspective around obstacle, from obstacle equals obstacle to obstacle equals opportunity. Because if your perspective is the first one, if your perspective is obstacle equals obstacle, then your subconscious mind throws up a giant red stop sign and it acts accordingly. It stops. And that's all that happens. But when you shift your perspective to obstacle equals opportunity, now your subconscious mind is looking, it's searching in the background. It's working for you in the background. And it's saying, where's my opportunity? Where is my opportunity? And so whatever that perceived challenge, perceived obstacle, or perceived limitation is, if you view that as an opportunity, you will find the opportunity. If your perspective is strictly obstacle equals obstacle, then you're going to hit that roadblock and it shuts down and you stay stuck. So the goal is to shift so you're going from perceived challenge, limitation, or obstacle quickly into where's my opportunity? What's the solution? Where's my opportunity? What's the solution? Because what's on the other side of the opportunity is a reward. And then the other thing, and then that was tip one. And then tip two is eliminating the word TRY from your vocabulary. Now you'll notice that I spelled it. It's the word try. I don't use that word. That's why I spell it. But sometimes people are like, wait, what? Why are you spelling the word, right? I spell the word because I don't use the word. So I don't use the word TRY. I don't use the word TRYing. And it's really, really, really powerful. It's a small but very powerful shift in how your conscious thinking, logical mind communicates with your subconscious mind. And this is extremely important because your subconscious mind only receives. Your subconscious mind only receives. However, your subconscious mind is ultimately the one creating your external reality. So you want this communication between your conscious and subconscious mind to be as potent and powerful as possible, right? And as supportive and positive as possible. It's really, really, really important. Really, really, really important. And that's why eliminating, and so your subconscious mind also doesn't understand the negative words. It doesn't understand negative words such as can't. It doesn't understand the word TRY. And so your brain just basically rejects it, right? So when you say you're going to TRY to do something, your brain simply just rejects that and just kind of washes. It's like, whatever, it just basically goes in one ear and right back out the other because your mind doesn't accept that. So the example that I always use is, right, if you're going to TRY, people always say, right, I'm going to TRY to lose weight. What happens? Nothing, right? Unfortunately, nothing. Or if you say you're going to TRY to get richer, you're going to TRY to make more money. What happens? Nothing. Unfortunately, nothing, because you are basically unknowingly telling your subconscious mind that in fact you don't want that thing, right? Because your subconscious mind is like, don't compute, blip, blip, right? It's like, no, we're not going to TRY to do anything. That's just not happening. So it ends up becoming something that you don't want. It ends up becoming kind of basically a self-fulfilling prophecy for something that you don't want. And you're not even aware of it, right? Because it's such a small and simple thing that you're not aware of how much of a negative impact such a small, simple 3-letter word is having on your ability to achieve your desired outcome, to achieve your desired result, whether that's more money, whether that's losing weight, whether that's a loving partnership, right? If you're TRYing to do these things, you're basically telling yourself that you don't really want those things, right? That that's not really what you choose. So it's really, really important. The language as far as how you speak, it's important. Language is important in general, right? It's also important how you communicate with others. Yes. And the most highest paid individuals in the world are communicators. If you're a highly paid communicator, it's because you're what? Very effective at it. Yes. And innovators. And that also means that you're very effective at that, yes? And so the same thing goes for communication with yourself. The same thing goes for that communication between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. It's everything that I do, everything that I teach is very, very, very strategic and very intentional so that you are using 100% of your mind 100% of the time, right? So it's an evolutionary process. It's an evolutionary process. I can't wave a wand. I wish I could, right? I wish I could magically wave a wand and have your mind operate at 100% of the time. But it takes rewiring and reprogramming those things that are unsupportive, that have been unsupportive habits and unsupportive language that have been slowing you down and holding you back, right? And again, a lot of times you're not even aware of it because it seems so small and minute. It doesn't seem like it would make much of a difference, but it makes a huge difference. These small pivots, these small changes add up to huge shifts. And these small changes create big change in a shorter period of time. When it's very strategic and it's very intentional, that change happens in a much shorter period of time as well. What else? What else can I touch on? I'm going to still hang out for the next 10 minutes. See if anyone wants to come on and join me to celebrate wins or pick my brain so that I can answer any questions that you might have, right? You can get laser coaching. I'll answer any questions that you have. We can hang out together and have a coffee. I'm going to have a sip of water. Nobody's here. Nobody's here with me today. I think this is the first time that I've ever been live that nobody's been here with me. And that's okay. That's okay. Somebody will catch the replay. Maybe it's you. You're listening. You're catching the replay. What else? So what else can I talk about? So that's it. So then next week, right? I'll be diving into the next tip, right? I'll be diving into number 3 of these tips, tools, and strategies to optimize and leverage 100% of your mind, 100% of that $27 billion asset, 100% of that 27 billion kilowatts of power. So I'll be getting into number 3 on Monday. And if you did miss last night or Wednesday, I ended up being live at night. I do a deep dive into each of them. So I dive much deeper and expand upon each one of them than I did here with you today. So you definitely have the opportunity to go back and catch that, right? And the other thing is for eliminating the word TRY from your vocabulary, that again, I went deeper into it last night, but part of that is it requires a buddy and it requires a friend, someone else who is on a similar path, right, of learning, growing, expanding, creating greater levels of wealth and success, peace and fulfillment in their life. And you need that you need a partner and a partner in crime and a buddy for this, because you want to support each other in eliminating the word. So when you're speaking to this person, ideally, right, it's someone who you talk to quite a bit, and that way, anytime you say the word TRY, they make a sound at you. Now, my friend who broke me of the habit, as I've mentioned before, would make an awful honking sound at me. So he would be like, eh. So every time we're on the phone and I would say the word, he would make this awful buzzard noise, and and it would like surprise me and shock me out of it every time. And sometimes it would annoy me and aggravate me, but it was, of course, for my own good. So I received it still received it with joy. And let's see. I will touch on it just since I have a little bit more time to share some things. One of the things, in one of my group programs, every month we have a challenge. So every month there's a theme, every month there is a mantra, and every month there is a challenge. So there's something that you're actively working on, like creating this new habit, right, and implementing into your life, that is going to, because the repetition is what creates that lasting change. If you if you start to eliminate the word TRY and you only do it for a week and you don't really use it, then it's gonna come back, right? If you don't remember, if you hear me say shift your perspective from obstacle equals obstacle to obstacle equals opportunity, and you love that, but you don't remember that that's a tool in your toolbox, then you're not going to remember to access or use that tool, right? So you want these things to be integrated into your being so that it gets implemented in your life. So that's the 3 I's of the Peaceful Millionaire Wealth System, is to ignite, right? To ignite, you have to ignite these things, bring awareness to them, shine light on them, ignite them, get excited about making the changes, right? Igniting is really fun. And then integrating tips, tools, strategies into your life. And also, when you create change subconsciously, which is something I do in my programs, when you use a theta state, when you use theta mind work and you use a theta state, you're tapping into creating change in a way that is 99% effective for creating lasting change. So again, everything that I do is very strategic and very intentional for you to get lasting results for yourself. And so that's the stuff that lights me up. And I do the work because it's the work that made the most change in my own life. It's the work that made the most change in my own life. I had been investing in myself for quite some time. And I had invested a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, and I was still finding myself getting stuck. I was still finding myself very frustrated. I still wasn't where I wanted to be. And it was really, really, really frustrating. And that's the point where a lot of times those are those moments when you feel like you want to give up, right? I definitely had moments where I felt like I wanted to give up and throw in the towel. And, why am I not there yet? And why do these big dreams, goals, and desires that I have feel so far away? And it's the result of the theta work is what took my dreams, goals, and desires that I had been working towards for years and made them my reality within 6 months. So real powerful meaning change is possible, and it's possible in a short period of time by going deeper. That is the secret sauce to what I do, is to take you deeper so that you can soar higher faster. To take you deeper so that you can soar higher faster, because that's where you're opening up and unlocking and unleashing, right, all of this power and potential that is in you. You are a being of pure potential. Every cell in your body, every cell in your mind, every fiber of your being is pure potential. You have to know how to harness it and use it. To harness it and use it to have the things that you choose to have. Now that's also something that's very, very, very powerful language shift, and I'll be talking about that more. I just touched on something, which is also the language of what you want versus what you choose to have. It's subtle. It's really subtle. And I think that's probably where I'll go and dive deep on Monday. I will dive deep on that little tidbit on Monday so that you understand why. And I always go into the why, right? The why behind my thought processes, the tools, the tips, the strategies, why it's important, why it's powerful, why it's useful. Because when you understand why something works and how something works, in particular, right, your mind, when you really, really understand deeply how it works and how powerful it is, when you understand, you're more likely to do the thing, right? To do the thing. So what I was talking about, before, so in my group program, so we have, so there's consistency, there's repetition. So for a month, there's a challenge, and there's a new tip, tool, technique that you're integrating into your life, you're integrating into your being, right? Because what gets integrated gets implemented. So I was talking about the 3 I's, right? Ignite, integrate, and implement. That's the path, right? That's the path to where the change actually has not only happened, but now it's permanent. Because information alone is simply that. It's simply information. So I can give you just the information, but the chances of you using the information without a support system is unfortunately slim to none. Now, that's not your fault. That's not because something's wrong with you. That's not because of anything bad. That's just because of the current programming, right? And how you've been wired to work thus far. So it's nothing bad. It's just that support and accountability are one of the biggest things that help facilitate that change. But also going deeper into the deeper aspects of the mind, giving you access to a theta state, to theta mind work, and creating that change in a place within your mind where you're actually getting change on a cellular level, on a DNA level, change that is 99% effective and lasting. So that's when you really, really go deeper. But these tools to optimize your mind are super, super powerful, but you have to use them. Right? You have to use them in order for them to be really effective. So the challenge that we did in my group program last month was to pause, right? So taking moments throughout your day, taking moments throughout the day, throughout the week, these moments to pause, take a breath, and repeat these words. Now, I'm going to translate so you can say it. So the words are spiro, ergo, prospero. And what my group was doing is pausing and saying what prospero, ergo, prospero means, which is I breathe, therefore I prosper. So the challenge for the month of April was to pause and say to yourself, I breathe, therefore I prosper. I breathe, therefore I prosper. And again, these subtle changes they're small things. They're small things, but they're super potent and they're super, super powerful. All right. Well, I've been rambling on for quite some time now. Rambling. It's not rambling. Nah, it's not rambling. But I've been dropping some nuggets and some diamonds and some pearls, right? These gold nuggets, these diamonds, these pearls of wisdom to bring value and change to you, to your life, to your mind in a really, really positive and powerful way. And that's what I have. That's what I have for you today. This was just completely me riffing because my intention on Fridays is to celebrate wins with you. And celebrate your wins, no matter how big or how small they are. Celebrate my own wins because what gets celebrated gets replicated. And that's a really, really powerful way to support each other in creating more and more and more and more success. And also give you the opportunity to pick my brain and get your questions answered. But I didn't have anyone with me to answer questions today, so I just riffed. And before I go, I'll just share briefly that I remember early on in this journey of it being a choice to and a desire of mine to get to this place. And I remember, oh gosh, it was a Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins course that I did several years ago. And I remember Dean saying, just get on camera and riff, right? What's something that you can riff about for 5 or 10 minutes? And I used to be absolutely terrified. Like, just if anyone's watching or listening, I was not the person. Like, I had been hiding for so long. So I was, trust me, like, I was not the person. I was not the person who was confident or excited to go on camera and talk, especially to just completely riff off the cuff, because I do come from that very science analytical background. And so things have to be organized and they have to be prepared, and it quote unquote has to be perfect, right? Reinvented perfectionist, right? I'm reinvented perfectionist here. And so for me to just completely go live and riff and still just completely be in my joy and passion of serving, of just showing up and serving, whether anyone's actually here with me live or not, it is insane how much joy it brings me. But it is also insane how much work that I put into getting to this place to show up and talk to you the way that I am, showing up on camera every single day to talk to you. This was like light years outside of my comfort zone and was something that felt impossible to me for a very long time. And so if there are things that feel impossible to you, that's okay. That's okay. If there's things that feel impossible now, that's okay, because it's not impossible. And whatever that dream, goal, or desire is that you have, it's meant for you. And as long as you're willing to keep working towards it, you will get there. You absolutely will get there because it's meant for you. Doesn't mean you don't have to do the work, but you will get there. And the work, when the work is creating powerful change, it doesn't feel like work. Like the inner, I call it inner work. I've really got to come up for a different word for it, because it's not work. It's magnificent. It's powerful. It's pivotal. It's meaningful. And that's not what work feels like, right? That's not what work feels like, unless you love your work. So I'm gonna think on that. I'm gonna think on that and see what fresh perspective I can bring to that, because I certainly have dedicated time and energy into becoming the highest and best version of myself. And the fact that I can show up here and do this today is a result of that work. And but I've enjoyed the journey. I've enjoyed the process, right? Life is a journey, not a destination. And if your intention is to enjoy the destination, you also have to enjoy the journey of getting from point A to point B. Because otherwise, no matter how sweet the destination is, it's never going to feel as good if you didn't enjoy the journey to get there. So I will leave you with those words. Happy Friday. Have the best Friday. If you're not here with me, I hope it's because you're being insanely productive and powerful, in your lane, in your zone of genius. And I wish you a very powerful and restful, rejuvenating weekend. I look forward to being with you and seeing you next week. Bye for now. I'll see you then. I will see you then. I have to exit and end all the broadcasts. Bye. Bye for now. Happy Friday.